everyone, History Mystery Man here today, coming to you from Campbellsburg, Indiana, a tiny little town in southern Indiana, about 10 miles west of Salem. Population about 500. The town was first laid out way back in 1849. The name of the town was Buena Vista in the beginning, named after the Battle of Buena Vista. Then a gentleman by the name of Robert Campbell platted an addition to the town, so they named it after him. It became Campbellsburg in 1851. There's been a post office here since 1852. Why am I in Campbellsburg? Pretty good question. I'm here today to visit the race shop of Baden Stewart, a street stock racer at Salem Speedway, and he's got more plans for us in the 2019 season. So that's our main focus today. I may poke around a little bit more, but for the most part, we're going to check in with Baden Stewart, high school student actually, won a race last year at Salem Speedway. Cool little story. Can't wait to check in. Welcome aboard. Good to have you with us. Let's go see what we can find. I'm a little early.
Yeah, it's all right.
I'm in. You're the only one here?
Yep.
Where's your pit crew?
A bunch of them are at school right now.
Oh, this is the all-school pit crew.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, and that includes you, right? You're a senior at West Washington?
Yes, sir.
So first of all, I'm seeing this big giant pavement beast in your shop. Some people call it a sprint car, and is that something that goes way back with you, that was hidden down deep in your soul? Where'd the sprint car thing come from?
Well, when I was little bitty, my dad owned a sprint car, and we won a few wing shows at Salem. I grew up around it, and it's just, it's what I grew up around, and it's what I love. Always wanted to go run them, and this year I'm getting the chance to, and it's really exciting.
I'll bet. Do you guys own the sprint car, or are you driving it for someone else?
This is ours.
Okay.
This is our car.
Where'd you get it? Did you build it new?
It was a frame that the Hurst brothers had, and then pretty much everything else. We spend all winter going to swap meets, yard sales, anything else we can find, getting used parts and putting it together.
So you're going to run the Little 500 at Anderson Speedway in Anderson, Indiana. Your thoughts on that?
It's exciting, really exciting. I like to call it the common man's Indy 500, because that's kind of what it is. When you're up there for the week, it has the feeling of Indy during the golden years, and it's a really special event. It's one of the best short track races in the world. I love that race.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I mean, it does have that Indy 500 feel. I mean, they 33 sprint cars, just like the Indy 500 field, 11 rows, 3 abreast, on a little tight quarter-mile bull ring. It must get pretty exciting. You've never done it, I know, but you're in for the ride of your life, I believe.
You're gonna find out how exciting it is. Yeah, absolutely.
So your grandma and grandpa still live on the property?
Yeah, right there in the yellow house.
Okay.
And there's all sorts of old parts.
So we're still on beautiful piece of property, by the way. So I'm seeing a couple gravestones here. Well, who is it?
I believe they were the first. It was the first judge in Washington County, and then his daughter and his wife.
Really?
All buried back here.
First judge in Washington County are buried here on your property.
Yeah, I didn't find that out until I was probably 7 or so, and I walked back here and it freaked me out because there's just gravestones. Like, the house is haunted.
Well, I made that. The White House I'm looking at?
Yep.
Up on the hill?
Yeah.
Your great-grandfather used to live there?
Yes, on my grandma's side.
Wow.
And so,
Yeah, so your great-grandfather lived on the property. I'm sure he's gone now, right? And your grandfather still lives on the property.
yes.
That's interesting.
Yeah. He was from the Blankenbaker side, and this grandpa's on the Stewart side, so.
Very cool. And that is Lost River Creek. Sweet. Love it. Beautiful. So what is your plan for the 2019 season? There's not a lot of places you can go with a pavement sprint car these days. If it was set up for dirt here in Indiana, it'd be different. You got Bloomington, Paragon, Hobstadt, a million choices around,
Yeah.
Lawrenceburg. But what is your plan with it?
Well, we're gonna run this at Anderson, definitely, and then any other pavement shows that pop up that we can go run. And then I'm gonna be driving a dirt sprint car for the Hurst brothers.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's really exciting.
Where's that car at?
It's in Salem too, just
Okay.
down the road from the shop. It's all right there around the speedway. So.
I gotcha.
But yeah, we've been getting it ready to go, and here shortly it'll be go time for that. And then whenever we're not in one of those two, we'll try to run the street stock.
Where will you run that dirt sprint car?
We'll be hitting Paragon a lot, Putnamville, North Vernon, places like that to get me comfortable in the car, because that'll be the biggest thing from the get-go is
Yeah.
getting comfortable, because it's going to be a big learning curve, but I'm excited for it. It's going to
Of
be a lot of
course.
fun.
How old are you?
18.
18 years young, huh? And you've been racing, it goes back to your early childhood, quarter midgets?
Yep.
Do I have that right?
Yep. When I was 3 years and 11 days old, my dad came home with a quarter midget and then stuck me in it, pushed me off, and that's,
And the rest is history.
yeah, pretty much.
That's interesting.
A copy of the Terre Haute quarter midget track.
So your dad built a quarter midget track on the property here.
Yep. Wasn't doing anything with it, so.
So, but it was dirt originally,
Yes.
and then he paved it. So if you needed to test, you didn't have to go far.
No, not at all.
Oh, this is awesome. Oh my Lord.
We got stuff strung everywhere from the wind last night, but yeah.
That's all right. So this is a little quarter midget track. I wonder how many laps you have around that place.
A lot.
More than 10.
Yeah, a whole lot more than 10.
Go with that. Wow. So that's where your career started.
Pretty much, yeah.
On a little tiny quarter midget oval on the property here.
I grew up around sprint cars, and being a kid from Indiana, it's a good chance you're gonna end up liking sprint cars, but the Lucas Oil Great American stocks, I firmly believe they are the best stock car class in the country. I really do.
That's a big thing to say. That's interesting.
They're a blast. All the guys that run there have been doing it for a long, long time. They know what they're doing, and it's a really tough division. But the cars are just so much fun to drive. They're not like a lot of other stock cars. You know, these 8-inch bias ply tires. You got to drive the car, and that is a lot of fun. That's what I like about them.
Yeah, it's not just point it and the car plants like maybe like a cup car would today on a super speedway. You got to get your arms crossed up every now and then on these.
And that's what I like about them. You know, they're not planted, and you got to drive the things.
Yeah.
They're downforce and radial tires. That's what they should be.
You know what? From a fan perspective, they're a lot of fun to watch. I had been watching them for years. You know, coming with the ARCA races at Salem. You know, and I got to tell you, I saw a lot of races last year, but the Halloween 200 was the best race I saw. Action all the way through. They had the multi-car pileups. Sorry for the people that got torn up. You know,
We were in that.
You were one of them.
I hit
Sorry.
everything that day.
You hit everything. Oh well. I mean, but from a fan perspective, it was a fascinating race, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of them.
Oh, absolutely. And from inside that car, that's
Then there's that from your angle.
I know Kevin Feeney ran wing sprint cars at Salem for years, and Dad had a street stock that a lot of the guys at the shop would take turns running, and we let Kevin run the Halloween race one year. And afterwards, he said that was one of the most fun races he's ever ran, guy that's been around Salem in a wing sprint car thought our street stocks were an absolute blast. So that's a cool story I always like to tell everybody about them.
Is that now? Who built your street stock?
That's a Chuck Barnes car.
That's a Chuck Barnes car. Okay.
Chuck Barnes car.
I gotcha.
And I get to drive for them. It's hard to put that into words because getting to drive for Chuck is huge.
They're icons in this industry.
Absolutely, and Chuck was my childhood hero growing up. If I could just have a fraction of the talent that Chuck had, I always thought I'd be set.
And see, now that's cool. A lot of kids growing up today, their childhood hero is, I don't know, pick one, Jeff Gordon or Tony Stewart. Yeah. But yours is Chuck Barnes Sr.
Yeah, Chuck Barnes, A.J. Foyt, Parnelli Jones.
Well, I was there the night you won at Salem Speedway in the street stock. I think that was the event alongside the USAC Silver Crown race that night. Yeah, I was there. I saw the victory, and I didn't really know you at the time, but I saw you climb out and said, well, he's just a kid,
Yeah.
How cool is that? And then I saw people around your pit crew and coming down. I mean, I saw people crying. So I thought, wow, that really had an effect on a lot of people. What did it do for you?
Well, I was one of them that was crying.
Okay, you were in that group.
I came off turn 4 and looked up and I saw the checkered flag and there was nothing in front of me, and I just broke out in tears.
Wow.
I mean, winning at Salem has always been a dream of mine, and to get to do it in Chuck Barnes' car, it was huge. And I had a lot of friends there at the Champ Car show that day, and it's just an absolutely perfect story. That's one of the best days of my entire life.
I can believe it. There is the competitiveness of the Salem Street Stock class, which is getting more competitive.
Yeah.
There's more guys coming. But to win at Salem is no easy thing. I don't care what you're in.
Yeah, and it's huge. There's a long list of some of the world's greatest race car drivers that have won at Salem.
You got that right.
And to put your name on that list, even if I'm just a little name at the bottom,
it's all right. You're there.
It means the world to me. So I love the place. It's one of my favorite racetracks in the world. I hold it up there with Indianapolis. So it's one of those things when I get in a car at Salem, I'm ready to go, and I'm fairly relaxed beforehand, which it's never made sense to me, but it's just one of those things. I love that track.
It sounds like you have an exciting year ahead. I mean, not only the little 500 with your pavement sprint car, but I know you're going to be running the local dirt tracks in the sprint car. You'll be crossed up in your Salem Street. You got a lot going on this year. You got to be pretty excited.
Oh, absolutely. And
gosh,
getting to drive a dirt sprint car in Indiana, I mean, that's the dream right there.
Without a wing.
Yes, with a non-wing sprint car in Indiana.
Yeah, man.
That is a dream. To get to drive for the Hurst brothers too, that's huge. There's another long list of guys right there.
Any idea who are some of the other drivers that have run for the Hurst brothers?
There's been a whole lot of Kinsers moved through.
Whoa. I know that name.
Yeah.
Any other people that come around and help, volunteers, anything like that? You got to have some guys hanging around, don't you, to make this stuff happen?
Oh, absolutely. One of my buddies at school, Wyatt and Nick, they help a lot. They've been a big help through this, and all the guys at the shop are a huge help in this. All winter we've had this car up at the shop in Salem working on it, just trying to knock it out, and it's paid off. And Dan, John, and Dave have been a huge help putting together the sprint car. And there's a lot of people that go into this, and I can't thank every one of them enough.
It would be a long list, I'm sure. Does your dad go everywhere with you when you're racing?
Yeah.
He's always there?
Yeah.
You're a senior in high school at West Washington High School. Do your school pals and chums, you mentioned them earlier, did they have an interest in what you're doing? Do they care? Do they pay attention? Is the school aware of what you're doing as a young man?
Yeah, a lot of them do, and that's something that I really appreciate. It does mean a lot to me. After our win at Salem, during one of the pep sessions, they told me to bring in the trophy. I got to
really?
Go down and
that's so cool.
Give a little talk. I do appreciate some of the recognition there at school for it. It does mean a lot to me.
I can't help but notice that everything is red, white, and blue.
This one, it worked out for us because we could keep it close to the Chuck Barnes colors, but change them up just a little bit, help distinguish the two cars, because we had a lot of people that last year said that they couldn't tell the two apart. But I got a thing. Red, white, and blue race cars just look good, I think. So.
Yeah, it also spells Americana.
That's
which,
right.
Which is also pretty cool.
You know, when I think of Indy 500 winners, I envision the winners living in some elaborate, fancy palace with palm trees all around. Not so much in the 1950s. You see the little white box you see behind me? That was the home of 1952 Indy 500 winner Troy Ruttman. We're here on Route 60 in between Salem and Campbellsburg, just a couple of miles away from Salem Speedway. But that's where Troy Ruttman lived, and that was after he won the Indy 500. This is what pays the bills.
Nice shop. Super nice shop. Oh yeah, that's the mural of your life there.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow. It's all in the family. That's your spotter?
Yeah, Danny.
That's your spotter, Danny. He
He's-
works here
he's
too.
busy,
Okay,
though,
all right,
so-
go, Danny boy.
How you doing?
How you doing? Grandfather, father of Baden. It's all in the family. Where'd the name Baden come from, anyway? Is it,
Dad, would you like to tell the story?
yeah, and it's not going to go on for a half hour, is it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Me and his mother spent an evening at West Baden Hotel.
I wondered about that.
So there you go.
Okay, is that
West didn't sound
He
good.
wasn't
Baden
conceived.
sounded all
Was he
right.
conceived at the West Baden Hotel?
I can't confirm or deny that. His mother would be mad at me.
All right. Well,
Testing it out here at Salem. They came all the way from North Carolina and didn't bring a tire gauge with them. And so Richard told them to come down here and they could get a quality tire gauge. And so he did. And when he came back with Baden and his friend, Ken gave him some advice and he didn't take it. He asked him if he wanted the inside scoop on this racing thing there. And of course they were all for it. Ken told him, said, get rid of those race cars and get a set of golf clubs.
yes. Who's the Vietnam veteran here?
I am.
You're a Vietnam veteran? Really? What years?
68, 69.
You know, I think that's one of the places that America really missed. You know, we had the ticker tape parades for the World War II heroes when they came home. You know, the Vietnam veterans weren't treated so well on the way back.
No.
And that's something we need to make right. But
I hear all the time, thanks for your service. It was 30 years and 1 month before I heard that.
wow.
That was on Veterans Day in '99 when I heard it.
It took
first
that
time.
long to hear it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I have a Vietnam veteran, a friend, who, when he came back to the States, his commanding generals told him, "Look, you're going to the airport. Take your uniform off, because it won't be received so well." Can you imagine telling the veteran to take his uniform off to come back to America? And that's what they were telling the soldiers then.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
Especially the ones that came in through California.
Yeah. Well, thanks for the service.
Oh, you're welcome.
All these years later.
Her grandfather.
This was the first sprint car in the family.
Her grandfather, my wife's grandfather, built that for his brother, who was Blankenbaker, had a Chevrolet dealership. And this is something I found later on. Bobby Grimm drove it at one time.
Blankenbaker Motors. Where was that?
That was in Hardensburg, I believe.
I gotcha.
And that was Mitchell, Indiana in 1946. The war is just over.
That's the first race you ever went to?
I think so. I was
That's
about
in
8.
Mitchell, Indiana?
Yeah.
I didn't know there was a fairgrounds in Mitchell,
Well,
Indiana, where they race.
It wasn't the fairgrounds. It was out. Diz Wilson built the track out by Spring Mill. You can see the transition from pre-war cars to post-war cars here.
Mm-hmm.
That was a Southern Star Special. It was from down at Louisville. And,
You know, those cars
Bill Cantrell drove it.
were beautiful.
Yep.
That's cool. I never knew there was a racetrack in Mitchell, Indiana.
built?
He was too big for the little cars, too little for the big cars, and we took a little bit off. And he said, "What are we gonna do, Dad?" And I said, "Yeah, let's learn how to fly an airplane." So he got his
Have you ever flown in and out of that little Salem airport?
Oh yeah,
That's where we fly in and out of all.
that's where we're
Okay.
based. That's the home of BS Airlines.
Is that it?
Yeah.
The Little Indian?
Yeah.
Whoa, that is sweet.
I call it the skipper of BS Airlines.
Skipper of
Or our hopper plane.
BS Airlines?
Yeah.
Baden Stewart Airlines.
That's right.
And when did you get your pilot's license?
Would have been about a year ago.
Really?
Right after my 17th birthday.
And that-
we were in this really weird place with the racing. I was too big for little cars, too little for big cars, because we're not going to do the 12-year-old and the late model thing. So we took a little break from it for a little while. And in the meantime, I worked on this and ended up getting my pilot's license. So
Wow. What's the farthest away you've ever flown?
me and Dad have made a couple trips to Marathon Key in Florida.
Really?
Yeah. And that was
Does he
about-
fly too? Does he fly or both of
after,
you do?
after I started, he ended up getting his pilot's license.
Wow. That's
BS
something
Airlines.
I bet a lot of people don't know, that Baden Stewart, not only a Salem winner, but he's a pilot.
That's right.
Private pilot, right?
Yes, sir.
BS Airlines.
Yeah, that's
Go
the
ahead.
joke. That's the joke. Anytime me and my friends load up and fly somewhere, we call it BS Airlines.
So that's a Cherokee 140?
Yep.
Is that what that is? Yeah, it's a beautiful plane.
There's your little Indian.
There's the little Indian on the nose gear.
Yep. And Paul, he works down at the shop. He painted that, and he does fantastic work.
Have you ever?
Yeah, I
There
like
it is. They are pretty reliable little engines.
Oh, absolutely. And I firmly believe this is much safer traveling than driving. There's a lot less of them up there.
Yeah, yeah, no kidding.
I mean, in flying, you get a lot of tests beforehand. And if you survive, you pass. But, then there's the big
Or
one.
if you pass, you survive.
that's-
One of
that's
those.
right, that's
Either
right.
way. It's a beautiful little airplane. You guys keep it super clean.
Whole lot of wax goes into
Whole
that.
lot of wax. Well, that's so cool. Salem Street Stock winner Baden Stewart is also a private pilot. Sweet.